Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. Let me get that camera adjusted. How's that? How's that? Good. Okay, it does say leathernecks. I thought this is a very tight form fitting polo. The reason I'm wearing it is because today is basically week one of the college football season. Kicks off tonight. We had some games this past Saturday. They call that week 0 in college football. Tonight, my alma mater, Directional State School, go Leathernecks, Western Illinois, in action against Tennessee Martin. So my alma mater's Division One, but they're in the college, the football college FCS. I should know. I traveled with the team for 3 years. I should know. Worked in the athletics department, should know what that stands for. So they take on Tennessee Martin. So I got to wear leathernecks today. I got to root on the purple and gold, the alma mater, WIU. So I will be following along to see how they are performing. I'm excited because our new football coach. This is one of those instances where you feel old. The new football coach at Western Illinois. I covered him when he was in high school, Myers Hendrickson. His dad was the head coach at Western Illinois when I worked there. The first year, I believe, that I worked there, but he was Coach Mark Hendrickson was there. So a father-son head coaching just in the last 10 years. I think that was 10 years, maybe 11. His last year might have been 2011, but great family. Coach Hendrickson was Coach Mark Hendrickson, Myers' dad. I'll never forget my very first game broadcasting for the Leathernecks football. I had taken over the radio network, was doing play-by-play. We played Sam Houston State down in Texas. Where's Sam Houston State? Is it Brown? Not Brownsville. Huntsville, Texas. Can't remember. Anyway, Sam Houston State. This would have been 2011, and great game. And I tweeted out. and I had like said Sam Houston State is legit. Like, we lost the game. Western lost. I'm like, this team is going to contend for a FCS national championship. When people were like, and I don't even know if they were in the top 20 in the FCS top 25. They might have been towards the bottom, and they kept winning and climbing. And they played probably North Dakota State, who was in our conference in the championship game. They lost, but Sam Houston State made it to the FCS title game, and I think Western held them to their lowest scoring output of the entire season. So after the game, my very first game, I'm nervous as hell because I'm broadcasting at the college level, Division I FCS. And so I'm nervous, and I'm like, after the game, as a broadcaster, as a play-by-play, I kind of do the same. You run through the game, and it's not like with a coach, they're running through the game from a play call standpoint, like what ifs. Okay, it's 3rd and 7. What if we ran this play instead of that play? Broadcasters do the same thing. How could I have, done something, improved something, said something different? So I was playing back my videos like slow. This is crazy. This is okay. Now it's caught up. I don't like that. There it is again. It's doing it again. Right in the middle of a story. My video, this is going to drive me insane. It's like watching Netflix. The mouth is moving, but nobody's talking. So anyway, okay. Hopefully that bug has cleared. Anyway, after the game, I'm running through. Here it is again. YouTube doesn't want me to share this story. It's sidetracking me. So after the game, I'm running through. Okay, it's caught up. I'm running through all the plays in my head, my play calls in my head. Nervous. I go to the bus, and after the games, we get Domino's pizza. In most games, we get Domino's pizza. Every every person on the travel squad, players, coaches, faculty, executives, or not. This isn't, well, college football is business. Travel party. Everybody gets a large Domino's pizza after the game. It's like, what am I going to do with this? Hey, where's the lineman? I was in, would we have had 3? No, we probably only had 2 buses. So I probably would have been on bus 2, which was defense. So where's the defensive lineman at? Here's half my pizza. So I get my pizza, get ready to hop on the bus, and Coach Hendrickson comes up to me, and he thanks me. And like, this is after the game, a tough loss because it was a close game, and he just thanks me for taking the job, and because I had known him for several years before just working in radio, and so that like meant a lot. So now his son Myers, who I don't think he was on that team. He later transferred in, and I think Myers played on the a team that I later covered when I was with Western. But so that's why I'm wearing my purple and gold Western Illinois polo. It's very tight fitting. I'll have to change out of it because it shows off all of the beer belliness that's going on down here. So pretty tight. My man boobs up here, my beer belly down here. But I wanted to represent the alma mater, kicking off Tennessee Martin tonight for week 1. Terry is with us. Happy Thursday. George, good morning. David, what is up? Herman is with us. Good morning, Hobby World. Victor, Zach, and Porter. Jenny, good morning. Victor is excited for some football. Me too. I'm going to have college football on my screen down here. I'll be digging through some more pallet. We're going to talk about some of my pallet finds today. I think my buddy Mark, who's a dealer at my card show, we actually met at the Madison Card Show, set up at my very first show. We've become friends. He's coming over, going to help me dig through some cards and in the pallet tonight, watch some football. It should be fun. Paige and Deanie Bean, good morning. Jenny says, George was correct. I listed 2 Austin Rileys, both sold within 9 hours. I don't think I listed any cards yesterday. I had some started. Actually, I take that back. About 100 were uploaded, but I had started them last night or 2 nights ago. And so I did that in the morning, but then I had some shipping to get caught up on. And then I catch wind. There's a Goodwill Pallet available, and I purchased it. And then I went and picked it up. And then I went to Rockford to check out the venue for the Midwest premiere, which is coming up October 15th and 16th. I was very impressed with the entire facility. There's plenty of parking. It's easy to enter and access. Most importantly, the floor. It's an indoor soccer field, so it's nice, cushy turf. And I'm like, wow, this is comfy. It's kind of like if you're familiar with the National and those hard cement floors, but then all of a sudden you get to the corporate area and it's cushy carpet and everybody's standing there because it feels good on your feet that have been burning from the concrete. That's what basically the whole floor is the indoor soccer turf. So October 15th and 16th, Midwest premiere, 250 tables. It's in Rockford, Illinois. It's actually, the address is Loves Park, which is basically just a suburb, I guess you would call it, of Rockford. It's right on the interstate. Take 90 all the way to O'Hare. So you got I-90 splits the Donald Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, where the National is held. And then across Interstate 90 is O'Hare. You just take Interstate 90 an hour west, and boom, you run right into you don't run right into the indoor sports center, but you run into the exit, and it's about a mile off the interstate. So yeah, October 15th and 16th, 2-day show, 250 tables. Looking forward to it. Let's see. Herman says he's not listing any Austin Rileys. Jenny said, I also started doing lot auctions, and the bids are nice for less than 24 hours active. Going to do mostly lots in September versus singles and move bulk. I tweeted out, I wanted to run the numbers because my impressions on eBay are just way down. So I wanted to see how down were they, and I used a 7-day stretch, the end of July into the first couple days of August, my impressions, and I think I actually added. I forgot July had 31 days, so the 7-day, like July 28th through August 2nd, or the 27th through the 2nd, was 4.9 million impressions in that 7-day period, whereas the period of like August 24th through the 30th was like 3.5 million on 2,500 additional listings over what I had in July. And somebody had asked, well, are your sales, is it just your traffic or your sales down? And typically it runs like the funnel. Your impressions, if your impressions are down, your page views are down. If your page views are down, your sales are down. And that's kind of been the case. It's kind of wacky though. I'm trying to enter my portal here and see exactly. So my sales are down 8% in the last 31 days. So sales are down 8%. Impressions are down 24%, and they keep going down. I keep adding listings to my eBay store, and my listing impressions on a daily basis keep declining. I think the peak was about a month ago. My 31-day impressions, traffic impressions, 24 million. It's down to 17.6 million, and I'm closing in on 20,000 active listings. And when I was at 24 million impressions, that was at about 16,000 active listings. So there's something going on in I think it goes beyond just back to school, end of summer, end of baseball season. I know that does have something to do with it. But such a huge decline seems that there's something else going on in the background within eBay's algorithm and search. And there were a couple good ideas that people had brought up on Twitter when I tweeted this out. One was the end of as we approach fourth quarter, eBay tends to iron out some of their kinks in their background. So they're tweaking a lot of stuff, which affects searches and traffic, which makes sense. And then somebody else brought up, my impressions keep declining, and it does kind of coincide when I started using Card Dealer Pro. Now, I'm not saying that's why, but what they brought up, and this person works with spreadsheets. I don't know if they're in the chat, but they can, if they want to show themselves and talk about it. I won't. It was in private messaging, so I'll keep it private. But said they work with spreadsheets, and sometimes there's bugs within a spreadsheet that can throw off the algorithm or whatever, which makes sense. Like I thought, it's like, I'm starting to see this massive decline, and it kind of coincides with starting to use this uploading the spreadsheets that are spit out by Card Dealer Pro. And I wonder if there is a correlation. So his suggestion was, try do an upload, with the old way and see if it results in differences. Now, I am moving cards that I've listed using the spreadsheet from Card Dealer Pro. So it's, but it could be people that watch, I have, 1,500 watchers in my store, something like that. So if they get an update, hey, Bo listed these cards today, it just could be people that are watching, following my store, or click my link on Twitter. So that traffic could be, it could be resulting through that. So could be multiple different reasons for the decline in eBay traffic. And I think people are seeing it. And I would be curious, outside of the sports card market, for volume sellers, if they're selling, I don't know, clothes, toys, whatever it may be, if there are other things, other sellers seeing these same types of declines. And I do a search, and there's there's some forums, and I can never access it from the eBay website. I always have to Google it, and then it just pops up like, here's the forum. So if I can make some time, I'll try to. I've got a truckload. My car is sagging from all the weight of baseball cards in the back. I'm sure that's not good for a vehicle, so I do need to get some of those cards out and take some pressure off my vehicle. Ken says neighbor thinks it's acceptable to leave their barking dog outside at 6:30, so I'm awake in here and I hate people. Ken, what is up? Good morning. Not a good morning for Ken. Ken's grumpy. Grab some coffee. Let's talk some cards. Ed is with us. Good morning, Ed. Let's see, where are we at? Jenny says, turn on the radio. Jenny says, turn off the lights. Jenny says, Bo, we no longer call it beer belly in America. We call it go. That's true. That's the dad joke now. It's like, this isn't a beer belly. It's just, COVID, stuck in the house for a year. Let's see. Ken says, by the way, Jenny, I bid on 2 of your lots. Very cool. I think the basketball and football ones. Jenny says, I imagine it would be hard to tell if your sales are down as you've listed like 5,000 cards this past 2 weeks. You should be shipping way more. I should. I've listed, I think, 4,000 cards in a span of 7 days, 8 days, 10 days. So that's, it's like I shipped yesterday morning and then I shipped a little bit in the afternoon. And then I didn't do any shipping last night. Now I did ship like Sunday and Monday. I did nothing but shipping. But then I've just kind of, took it easy the last couple of days because the sales just aren't coming in like they normally should. Now I am, because I did take last night off and I was in Rockford. We got some, went to a local pub and had a burger. And then I got home. It was about 9:00 when I got home, which, that's my bedtime. I'm at 138. Just had 2 sales this morning. 138 items to ship, which is lower than what it should be, especially now having nearly 20,000 active listings. And that, so my sell-through rate, which adding 4,000 listings in such a short period of time is going to affect those numbers pretty drastically. So I'm at 7,076 in the last 90 days divided by 90. So I'm at 78.6, which it's like I keep adding more and more listings and like my sales numbers just barely tick up. And I'm at 19,806. Divide that. So I'm down to 0.39% on the sell-through rate. The very peak, 2.3%. Now that was during the crazy COVID times. But I think a year ago, probably September 1st of last year, my sell-through rate was above 1%. It was probably 1.3%. Now, it was on about 3,000 listings in September of 2021. And the more I list, it's kind of like it sounds silly. It's like the more you list, the more you sell. That's not necessarily the case. If the more you list, the less you might sell. It all depends on what you list and where your pricing is at. If you list 1991 Pro Set Tim Brown for $5, it's not going to sell. Even if you have 50,000 of similar cards like that, nobody's going to buy those. So it's all about that. Let's see. Zach and Porter said, could kids bring back in college and school impact your numbers? It's definitely a part of it. There's not just one, when things like this happen, there's not just one reason. There's not just like, I think when the boom happened, it's like the root of the boom was we were locked in our houses during COVID. But I think in quote normal times, I think there's several reasons that's definitely going to impact numbers regardless of, there's going to be a decline. I think this type of year, especially from my inventory, which skews heavy baseball, this is kind of the dog days of baseball. This is where we see the decline in baseball sales. Back to school baseball, college football starting, the NFL's starting. People are starting to gravitate, those that collect outside of just baseball, they're starting to move their collecting focus to football and then eventually to basketball in a smaller sense. It's a little smaller collecting community, I think. It's still large, but small in comparison. Um, so I think yes, it definitely does impact it. And that's why I was like trying to sell, football. Maybe I should list more hockey and soccer. Maybe that's my problem. Let's see. George says I've had let's see, some great luck moving his cards. Jenny says she thinks it's an eBay glitch. Too many patterns I have seen. I would agree with that. If it was just like, oh, my sales are down, it's just the dog days of summer. People are losing focus on baseball cards, back to school, football starting, all that. But this is such a drastic decline. I mean, seeing your traffic impressions drop from 24 million to 17 million despite adding 4,000 active listings to your eBay store, that's pretty dramatic. And I think it goes beyond just a seasonal decline. Card Hobbyist is with us this morning. What is up? I think I just chipped my tooth. Yeah, live on air. That's not good. That's I hope that's not noticeable. That was so a story about that tooth that just chipped. I have nightmares of my teeth crumbling just like that. So this tooth, the part that probably chipped is fake. When I was like 10 years old, this is gonna like bug me all day long. Now I have to go to the dentist. Ugh. When I was like 10 years old, me and some friends, shout out to Brandon if you're listening. He's the Barry Sanders, Larry Johnson guy. We were riding our bikes to Doug's house, our friend Doug. Doug's dad had a pool. And I'm sorry, I keep like rubbing it with my tongue. We were riding our bikes, 10 years old, one of those summer days, and we're going to the pool, and we're just goofing off on our bikes. And I don't know what I was doing. I was dumb. I was a 10-year-old dumb kid. And I started doing this with the handlebars. And I hit a piece of gravel and just bit it hard. Like my face smacked the road. It was at the intersection. I should know the streets. It's not Main Street. It's the street over from Main. And I think State, because State runs along, because it was a block from the high school. It was at that intersection. And I hit some gravel, bit it, smacked my head. I shouldn't do that. The rest of my tooth might fall out. Smacked my head against the concrete. This is like 1992, so I probably had a concussion. I don't know. We didn't really know what concussions were in 1992. So smacked it, and half my tooth, like that half, I don't know if you can see it, half of that tooth came out. So I had to have it. Oh my God, it hurts so bad. So 1992, so 30 years for a fake half tooth. It was a good run. My mom, like 10 years ago or 20 years, she goes, I can't believe that tooth held up. Dr. Tom, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. He was my dentist. And my mom called him. This was on it was probably a Saturday I know it was a weekend. It's probably a Saturday afternoon. And called him, and we went to, it happened just like 2 doors down from my friend Brandon's house, who I was with. We'd probably just taken off from his house to go to Doug's, who lived a few blocks away. And so we went back, and his dad was there and like put ice on it or whatever. And think my mom probably came and picked me up, called Dr. Tom, the dentist. This is how small town it was. And then the dentist office was literally on the same street I bid it, just about 3 blocks up towards, we called it uptown in my hometown, not downtown. It was uptown. And called Dr. Tom. Dr. Tom came in, emergency stuff. And for 30 years until today, live on Hobby Evolution, part of my tooth came out that was fake from 1992. So that's the story. And speaking of kids on bikes, I wanted to bring this up because I take my dog for a walk usually around 11 in the morning. And I remember like like in my 20s, and I can't believe in my 30s is the rear view mirror now. I'm 40. I'm a man. It's like God, kids are all playing video games and on the internet. And it's like, man, when I was a kid, I was doing stupid stuff on my bike, going to the dentist for emergency tooth surgery. Man, I guess it's safer staying inside playing video games. But in my neighborhood, it reminds me, yesterday I was taking the dog for a walk, and I don't think school started yet. Obviously, school hasn't started yet here. I'm walking the dog, and I'm a few blocks down, and it's the same kids. There's a group of like 5 or 6 kids, and they're always out. Like when I walk the dog, they're always out just riding their bikes. There's a retention pond a few blocks down. They fish in there. I don't know if it's a retention pond. Like, I don't know. But they have fishing poles, and they're in there. But that's cool. It reminds me of like the 80s, like growing up in the 80s, growing up in the early 90s, and doing that same stuff, like just riding our bikes around, goofing around. And it's good to see. Like it's refreshing that kids aren't hanging out inside all day playing video games and being on the internet, because that's what I felt happened in our previous generation. So it's good to see kids outside and playing. So anyway, I can't believe my tooth fell apart live on the show. Now you have a background of my teeth. Let's see. Ken says, I'm on a different scale than Jenny and Bo, but my sales have been better than normal the last 3 weeks. That is good. That is good. I would be curious, just like a poll. And there's so many like intricacies that go into it. It's like, well, did you list? How many did you list? What do you have listed? But I guess to get a general sense, just to see what everybody else is seeing. George just got done making up some seasoning mix for some carnitas for dinner tomorrow. Nice. We ordered, was it last night? No, 2 nights ago. We ordered, we've got a Mexican restaurant that's really good. It's called Ancho and Agave. And they only have 2 locations. It's weird. One here in Middleton, Wisconsin, and then one in Bloomington, Illinois. But it's awesome. And I got the carnitas. My go-to is the carnitas burrito, and it's delicious. Jenny says, interesting point on Card Dealer Pro. I would upload a ton this weekend from File Exchange and see what happens. By the way, Rockford show. Sunday is Janesville. Wisconsin. September 4th, the day before Labor Day. And then the following Saturday is Rockford. Saturday, September 10th is the Northern Illinois Card Show in Rockford. I'll have my bargain boxes at both shows. Paige and Deanie Bean says, my local card dealer had a water pipe burst in the basement, only lost Kmart KB Toys box sets, and he lost about 1,000 miscellaneous Yankees cards, which isn't a loss. Leave the cards off the ground. Absolutely. Absolutely. As I look over, and I've got Goodwill pallet piles on my basement floor, but if I lost those, I'm losing some of Herman's 1990 Score Hockey, some 89 Pro set, which I'm going to get into what I've opened so far. Let's see. Zach's out. Thank you for jumping on. Kyle says, I primarily sell non-sports cards items on eBay, and sales are definitely down slightly. That's good to know, especially from a non-sports standpoint. Ken says, would Bo's vehicle have junk in the trunk? It does. It does. It has a lot of junk in the trunk. Card Hobbyist says, I started using promotions on eBay and seen a big rise in impression sales, not so much. I've been using promotions, and I have the default, like it's above like the 2% or whatever. It typically averages around 5%. Um, but when I instituted that in my eBay store back in, and it was probably back or like right during the peak, my impressions and my traffic went from like down here to like boom. Like the bar graph is insane, the change in traffic. And it did boost sales quite a bit for me. Let's see. Victor's going to be in Ed's area, needs some card shops to go to. George says, respect for Bo giving Jenny the nod via Cowboy Mouth lyrics. Such a great group and song. I love it. Jenny says 138 is pretty weak for having 4K newly listed within 2 weeks. Every time you upload 1,000 listings, you should see 100 at least sell that day alone. Yeah, and so a lot of times I will move 10% within a day. So the 138 is just is a lot of it's probably from the last 2 days. So I don't know what my actually I could probably tell you. So I let's go back 10 days. Let's see what my sales volume is for the last 10 days. So let's just do August. What would it be? August 22nd. Let's do a custom. This tooth thing is really bothering me. The good thing is I am due for a clean though. I think my cleaning is this month. So let's do August 22nd to August 30th. Is that a 10-day window? That might be 9. Anyway, let's do August 31st. See these damn months, 30 and 31 days. Did you know this is my trick when I count months? So January is the knuckle, 31 days. February, down here in the valley, only 28 days. March, up here, 31 days. April, down here, 30 days. May, up here, 31 days. June, only 30 days. Oh, now here's where it gets tricky. But what if you have to switch hands? So June, July, up here. Oh, it's 31 days. August, you would expect 30. No. Boom, knuckle, 31 days in August. September, 30 days. October, 31. Down here for November, 30. And then up here for December. But you can't go down. You have to start over with January. So that's the trick. It's like, is June 30 or 31 days? January, February, March, April, May, June. Oh, only 30 days. That's the trick. I learned that in like kindergarten. Okay, so let's generate the report August 22nd through the 31st. I keep rubbing my tooth. So in that period, I sold 734 items from August 22nd through August 31st. I sold 734, but that volume was down 10%, 9.9% decrease in sales on 734 items sold. Let's see. Ken says that number to ship would be unbearable to me. I'm happy with the 6 I'm packing up for today. Let's see. Jenny says, Ken, are your lots that are selling? I sold a John Rocker of 200 for $12 a couple days ago. Such random things can sell. I love it. Those 90s serial numbers, like I'm a big fan of the 90s serial numbers because they can sell really well because there's not too many for sale out. There's not too many out in the wild. Terry says, I just sorted a stack of Tim Brown last night. Have about 100 of them. Cooter is with us. Good morning, Cooter. Ken says, Jenny, mixture of lots and singles. I'm listing less singles as time goes on. I'd have to ship less units and have a higher average sale. Let's see. Cooter says, Labor Day weekend, it may be a while to get into the dentist. Yeah, I know. And they're like super backed up. Because I had to reschedule. So I haven't had a cleaning this year because I had to reschedule in March because my regularly scheduled cleaning was during spring training. And they're like, well, our next opening is in September. And I'm like, wait, what? It's March. And they can get me in, but they call me and they're like, "Hey, we have an opening in an hour." And it's like, well, I can't get to the dentist in the next hour. I'm sorry. Um, let's see. Mark Hoyle is with us. John misses Dr. Tom. He was a great guy. Dr. Tom was a great guy. Um, old school. He's a dentist, but he smokes. He smoked. Well, he passed away, but he smoked cigarettes, drank coffee every morning, like all these things that are just terrible on your teeth. But he was such a good dentist. Let's see. Paige and Deanie Bean says, "Oh, what a champion powering through! I'd be at the dentist already." John says the dentist bill was probably $25. It probably was in 1992, and hometown dentist, small town. Let's see. Jenny says, "I have a trick. You can see if sales are down from back to school or eBay glitch, possible spreadsheet glitch. Let's rev your Labor Day sales up." Card Hobbyist says, "Kids on bikes is a genre of media." Let's see. Jenny says, "Tonight, 7 p.m. Are you and Herman available for a 10 to 15 minute StreamYard?" I am not available tonight. I got my friend Mark's coming over. We're digging through Goodwill stuff. Let's see. Let's see. Herman says, "I pulled out my son's old 89 Priest last night after you talked about it." Let's see. So what is your trick to count to 21? You should list your tooth chip as a relic. I'm trying to build a list of all the low-end eBay sellers that congregate here. Do you mind if I post a link to a Google from here? I'll share the list. Absolutely. And looks like you need a wrench too. Let's see. There you go. There is your wrench. So I picked up my 7th Goodwill pallet yesterday. And it was a surprise. Like I expected, I was about ready to start actively looking, but I got a heads up that, hey, one's available, and picked it up yesterday. It was like quick. It was like 10:30 purchase, 1 o'clock. It's loaded in my car. I'm still, every once in a while, you're going to see me rub just to make sure my tooth is still there. So I picked it up, and I've talked about this before. I always go through, I'll kind of like check the boxes, just to have an idea of what's in there. And then I kind of base my initial opinion on what I think this pallet will do. Is it a good one? Is it a bad one? So we'll see. So as I was digging through the pallets, there were some plastic baggies with a lot of top-loaded cards, which sometimes that's good. Many times that's just a bunch of 91 Fleer in top-loaded cards. That happens more times than what actually was in yesterday's. So I'm digging through, and it's like, okay, so there's some potential there. A lot of the boxes, and I also figured out another something that I've noticed along the way is it's like I seem to always pull the good stuff early on, like the first few batches, and I know why, because most of the junk and the commons are in like 5-row boxes, 4-row boxes, and that's usually like all the junk. All the good stuff is usually in like a plastic bag, which sounds backwards. And so that stuff always, you can't put that on the floor of your car, because then you're piling boxes on top. So all of that stuff goes on top, which is the first stuff that I pull out. That's why I'm always pulling the good stuff early, and then the last day, 2 days that I'm looking through stuff, it's just a bunch of junk wax commons, because they're on the bottom in those boxes. So there were a lot of boxes. There were a lot of boxes of what I assume to be junk wax commons, and they're in like diaper boxes. There were a bunch of, it wasn't diaper boxes, but like maybe juice like stuff that juice came in. It's like somebody went through an Aldi grocery store and like took all the boxes. So I did pull out, and I put the bags with the top loaders. I put those on my front seat. because I'm like, hey, this is stuff that might make for an interesting video. So I did go live yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Went live to go through, and it's like a WNBA super collection, which there ended up being some really good stuff. A ton of autos, a lot of in-person autos, but there's also some like uh, authentic card manufactured autos, um, some jersey relics, um, and a lot of stars. So a lot of Dawn Staley, couple Rebecca Lobo rookies, um, Sue Bird. So I'm going through and finding some good stuff, and like a lot of WNBA gold medallion stuff. A lot of small, like there's a few cards that I was pretty happy. I mean, first I'll start with the non WNBA. This is a Man in Rayum. This was like one of the. She was like the Jason Dominguez, Wander Franco of the early '90s. Man in Rayum was like number one on the hot list for cards. And when I posted this, I had people say, "Oh my God, she signed 6,500 of those." 6,500 in 1993 is like 10 today, in terms of rarity. Like 6,500 was like, I mean, card companies bragged or didn't brag. Card companies like advertised the fact that this is a limited edition, only 10,000 made or only 15,000 made. That just goes to show you how many they made of like the regular cards. So 6,500 is actually rare in 1993. So this actually one recently sold at auction on eBay for $30. I think it was like $28 shipped. So I was pretty happy when I saw that. I'm like, oh, hey, I thought I might go for $20, maybe 15, but might sell for 30 to 40, because that was an auction, and my thoughts on auctions. And then there were like a ton of WNBA, like piles of WNBA. And again, you can see them like card by card in my video from yesterday. Yeah, Card Hobbyist mentions the Donruss Elite inserts from 91. 10,000, and that was like super rare. And he's not seen one in person to this day. They are super rare, and there's 10,000 of them. So this, I thought, like, well, this must be a custom card. Sue Bird, 2008 women's national team. On the back, it's numbered to 444. I'm like, this looks like a custom card. Like, this looks like a fake custom card. I did look it up. There were actually two of these in this in these bags, two of these cards. There's only one listed. It's a legit card. It's from Rittenhouse. And some of these Rittenhouse WNBA cards sell for good money. There's only one listed, and I think it's listed for like 40 or 50 bucks. No sold listings though. This is a Sue Bird second year card, thanks to, I think, Refractor Jones pointed out some cards in the comments to yesterday's video. This is a second year card. He says it sells for about $10. There was also a gold medallion, but I think it was the next year. Oh no, it is a second year gold medallion, but it has a big corner crease. So I don't know how much the gold medallion, I'm assuming in near mint, sells for 20, twice as much as the base maybe. But again, mine's with a big corner ding. And then this one, I haven't like looked at comps, but sometimes these team issue college cards sell for decent money. I had a Dwayne Wade from Marquette that sold for like $75. This is Gino Auriemma from 99 2000. I think Swin Cash was also in this set. So those were some WNBA cards. Didn't really look through much of actually, there's a baseball binder that I'm going to do a separate video. It's not like look at this, there's a Mike Trout rookie card, but it's unique. And so I'm going to share a binder video that I'll try to get uploaded. I made the thumbnail already. Now I just need to do the video, which it'll take me like 2 minutes. So that was also, I brought that in with, because I when I get binders, and usually the binders have good stuff also. I found some good stuff in binders in these Goodwill pallets. So there were a ton of so I'll have to get like a plastic tub because there were like small boxes. Like whoever donated these bought like bought out Walgreens and the Fairfield boxes. There's probably 50 of the Fairfield boxes, but they're opened and they must have been selling them by team because it's like this one's Dallas Cowboys, here's Chicago Bears, here's Cincinnati Bengals, like every NFL team, and it's just in a Fairfield box where there's probably 50 football cards, and it's like junk wax and like commons from current. So I'll have to bring those out. But then there was also blaster boxes. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder if these are unopened. No, they were opened, but it was basically the cards that were inside. Nothing. I think I set aside a couple cards. There was, these are on my floor. There's a Randy Arozarena Gypsy Queen rookie, which is, probably a $2 card. There were a couple Tom Brady's that I set aside. And then the stars I set aside for my quarter boxes. So they were basically all commons. But yeah, nothing big in those. Then there were a couple what appeared to be unopened boxes. And if I turn my camera, there you can see. So this is like the Goodwill pallet that I've sorted so far. So there's the binder that I'll show off in a video. There's that Tim Brown that I looked at to give reference. That box was just a bunch of random, mostly stuff that'll be recycled. And then you see over there up against that heart box is 90 score NHL hockey, 89 pro set. So those were in plastic. Whoa, what the hell happened to my camera? Those were in plastic wrap. I don't understand how this does that. I need a new camera thing. So they were in like plastic wrap, and it was like a sealed plastic. It wasn't like it was like not professionally done, but like it was like if you authenticate a box and it comes in that wrap and it's like all sealed up, because I thought initially it's like, oh, that somebody just put a plastic bag, a tight plastic bag, almost like a team bag for a hobby box, but it was all sealed. Like it was plastic seal. I'm like, oh man, these are unopened boxes. So I got a little excited, not about the hockey, but the 89 pro set. I'm like, an unopened 89 pro set box. Hey, this is good. So I brought those boxes in, and it's like, I don't want to get duped. So I'm like, I'm gonna rip this because it was, I could tell it was aftermarket plastic wrap, but it was professionally done. And opened it up, and it wasn't unopened. It was 89 Pro set, but somebody had just ripped the box. And I'm sure the Barry Sanders and whatever else, I think that's probably what else was an 89 Pro set. As far as what would, I'm sure Derek Thomas is probably still in there. But maybe Santa Claus was pulled, or, I think Santa and Barry Sanders probably the only, pull worthy out of that box. So I was disappointed. Same with the hockey. Herman, your want list will be filled with those. So nothing much outside of the bags of WNBA cards so far. Just in quick glance as I was going through some stuff, I did see some like 2011 tops. Never know, could be another Mike Trout rookie card in there somewhere. So I always get a little excited when I see 2011 tops, because the very first pallet I bought had the Mike Trout rookie card, and it was in a binder page. So it was overlooked by the overlords of trading cards at Goodwill. So what else? What else from was in there? Some of those plaques. Remember those plaques in the 90s that were popular? It was basically like a small wooden or like marble-ish type stuff with a top loader, and then it's got the nameplate at the bottom. So I think there's a Frank Thomas. So Zach and Porter will get that. But there were like 4 or 5 of those. Nothing else that really stuck out. Herman, thank you. Troy Aikman was an 89 Pro set. Yes, Troy Aikman and Barry Sanders. Let's see. George says, also, according to many players, they often get 5 or 6K even today for just one release. Herman adds about Donruss Elite. Jenny says, we're going to keep calling the video clips thumbnails, or are they now tooth chips? Man, I can't believe that. I guess I can't. It's been 30 years. That's a strong whatever they used on teeth. And it's my front tooth, so yeah, half of it came out. It's only like half left. So I'm going to have to watch what I eat, because if I bite down on something, it's probably just going to time to call the dentist. And I hate the dentist. I've probably shared this story before, but there's probably new viewers. I hate the dentist, but not personally. My dentist is actually a Cubs fan here in Wisconsin. He's from Elgin, Illinois. So whenever I'm in there, he's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'd rather be anywhere else but here. No offense, but I hate coming here. And I don't know, like, this is just one of those, like, how did this happen? My wife and I went to the Blue Man Group, and this was, 6 years ago in Chicago. And we sat in we sat close enough that we had to wear like the plastic raincoat. And we were right on the end, like second row on the end. And I like being on the end because it's like fight or flight mentality, I think. It's like if something happens, I can get out and I don't have to climb over people. So I'm sitting on the end. And Blue Man Group, crowd participation heavy. And I'm like, I'm sitting on the end. I'm up here because I want to be close, and I want to be close to the aisle, but just don't pick on me. So it's like you avoid eye contact. It's like, maybe if I don't look at them, they can't see me type of deal. It's like, please don't pick on me. Please don't pick on me. Not only do they pick on me, they pick on me with the most uncomfortable shtick they do. And that's leaning you back in your chair like you're at the dentist and stick a camera in my mouth. And the interior of my mouth is on the 700-foot big screen or whatever they have on stage, which I don't care. People, you want to see in my mouth? I don't crack. My tooth fell out. I shut it off. I don't care. But what I do care about is people like holding me down in a chair, sticking something in my mouth. And it's like, this is my like sitting in a dentist chair having dental work done is like my biggest fear. Like spiders, I don't care. Snakes, I don't like. If one crawls next to me, I'm going to jump. But I think snakes are super cool. Like if I can see them and they're not like sneaking up on me, I think snakes are cool. But the dentist scares the hell out of me, especially being restrained and putting a camera in my mouth. So that was my Blue Man Group experience. It's like, well, that sucked. Dan is with us. What is up, Dan? Morning. After visiting my childhood collection this week, I'm going to be bringing home at least 20,000 star cards for eBay inventory. Now I really need to figure out a scanner and file exchange. That is awesome. Love it. Brian Wolf in the house. Good morning to you. So that's about going to wrap it up. That is going to wrap it up, actually. I am going to go change out of my form-fitting Western Illinois polo. Unfortunately, all of my Western Illinois gear, with the exception of my hoodie, that was like at the time 3 sizes too big. Now it fits better. All of it's like small, like mediums and larges, because I was in much better shape 10 years ago than what I am today. And I just haven't bought any new Western Illinois gear. So I'll have to try to find something. So I've got some shipping to do, and then I've got some more Goodwill stuff to come along. Follow me along on Twitter at 1 million Cubs. I'll tweet out any exciting stuff that I find. Do expect a video this afternoon of the binder that I kind of showed off. It's nothing like, oh my God, that's awesome! I can't believe you found that in a Goodwill pallet. It's something like, holy cow, that's super unique. I can't believe you found that in a Goodwill pallet. Kind of one of those. So expect that later today on the channel. Hit the like button if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Today's Thursday, so I don't have to take out the trash. But I'm going to have a lot of fortunately, next week is recycling week because there's probably going to be a lot of beat up junk wax cards that are going to be finding a new spot in my recycle bin. So I do need to call the dentist, though, for my chipped tooth live on air. At first, it's like, what? At first, I thought like the structure of this tooth, and I have it right here because it fell in my lap. It's like, what is that? Is that? I thought it was like a crusty from my coffee creamer. Like, you know how it like gums up at the top? I thought like it had hardened and fell in my coffee. I took a drink and a piece of hard creamer fell out. Nope, just my tooth. So better call the dentist. So have a great Thursday. Back at it tomorrow morning for Hobby Evolution, 7 a.m. Central. I will be live on Saturday morning, probably 8 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays are kind of up in the air. Sunday, there will not be a show because I'll be in Janesville, Wisconsin. So if you're in that area within driving distance, come on out to Janesville at the Holiday Inn Convention Center right on the interstate. I'll have my bargain boxes. I'll have some good stuff, some brand new stuff, never before at a show, at least in my boxes. So come on out, see me in Janesville on Sunday. And then I'll be in Rockford at the Northern Illinois Card Show at the Rock Church on Saturday, September 10th. And then Saturday, September 24th is the next Madison Card Show, 125 tables at the Sheraton Hotel. Haven't even said it yet. Where? On John Nolan Drive. Take a drink. And then the big Midwest premiere is October 15th and 16th. That'll be in Rockford. Address is Loves Park, Illinois. That is at the Indoor Sports Center. 250 tables, and it's a 2-day show, October 15th and 16th. Turkey Cards, have a great day. You too. Herman says there's pro athletes that would sit out 2 games for less than what Bo powered through this morning. Thank you, Herman. Have a great Thursday, and we will see you tomorrow, unless I'm at the dentist.